Have you ever thought on how trauma affects the normal human being? Well, today we're going to do a deep dive on the topic. The three main parts that are being affected by trauma is the amygdala, which is your emotional response center. It's basically saying, hey, can we fight this thing? Or let's not, it's better for us to leave. The second part would be your prefrontal cortex. It's your decision-making part of the brain. It's responsible for high critical thinking. It's fully developed by the age of 25. Basically saying, hey, is this a good decision? Maybe not. And third would be the hippocampus. It is the learning and the formation of memories. Basically saying, hey, is this a good thing to remember? Maybe not, let's discard it. PTSD hits in this level of the brain. In a way, your brain, when something traumatic happens to you, your brain will try to forget the memory and forget the details, so it'd be easier for you to survive. And the fourth thing would be your age range. Depending on how old you were, it can have different effects on the body. Now, stepping into intergenerational trauma. Kids can have effects of things that they have never experienced, which is actually crazy if you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be there to understand the devastation of the event. It is very intergenerational trauma happens a lot with indigenous people and people who have been like colonized or something, you know, like a tragedy happening within a community. There was a study done on Karen Sonberg, which was a child of a Holocaust survivor. She grew up being very depressed, very different, very sad and anxious, and parents never understood why. Not knowing that there was an epigenetic change within her due to her parents' experience. Child adversity, how much intensive care by a mother matter? In other words, it affects the person heavily. Although yes, your DNA and chemistry makes you, how much love you have from home changes the person like tremendously. There was a study done on people who did not have enough love growing up, and they are tended to be more aggressive, don't know how to communicate effectively, tended to not be good with money, did not get that long in careers, rather than people who had much care growing up and were followed by, you know, great nurturing caregivers. So in a way, even though you are set up by your genes, you have a degree of freedom. Leading into this very topic called neuroplasticity. The brain's ability to modify, change, and adapt both structure and function throughout life and in response to experiences. Basically saying that I have the ability into which I choose to respond to a traumatic event, which is great, because if you have PTSD, in a way you can still recover. If something deeply affected you, you can still recover. You can make chances every day and be more mindful in how you choose to go about your day. The cons would be that if you choose to ignore this, it will go on and on from one person to another until one person decides to change all of that. Why is this important? Why are we talking about the subject? Well, if we are more mindful and we choose to be better, making our newer generations better, we are rebuilding the society. We are reforming into the way we think and how future generations think. Understanding these concepts, we can work through more therapeutic principles, you know, such as therapy, communication, things that are very subtle but can make huge changes within a person. Being kind to you and yourself, you will start to understand how change that you choose to make is deeper than your control. In other words, you matter. And that will be it. Thank you for everyone listening. These are my references.